Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a close look at our second hero from Cursed City, Octren Glimscry. Here he is, this is Octren Glimscry, and in this video we'll work through this hero's card, taking a close look at all his weapon actions and abilities, and have a close look at the miniature. And here he is, a really interesting miniature, quite fragile. You have to be careful of this kind of tongue mask. That's quite delicate, so as you're assembling it, just be careful there. And I'm gluing all these miniatures, although it says they're push fit and you don't have to. Because I want to paint them, I'm going to be gluing them. But you can see that the seal is not super great on this one, so you can see quite a join there. So that's going to stand out quite a bit. And also there, right down the back, there's quite a kind of split. So this one hasn't gone together as good as I would have liked. And I think this is a good time to try out some liquid green stuff that I've never used before. So I'll be giving that a go when I paint this guy up. But overall, a great looking miniature though. I love how he's carrying these books and scrolls. And that mask is just mental. So really great miniature. But yeah, just those cracks let it down a little bit. Not the best kind of assembly. And so just be careful of that. And if you don't glue it, those cracks are going to be even wider. But there he is. So now we've seen the miniature, let's take a look at the fighter card. Shuffling and sinister, his face perpetually hidden behind a death mask, the scholar Glimscry has delved long into the mysteries of the realm of death. He has lived many times the span of a normal life, and his experiments with the mortality manipulating realm stone, known as gravesand, have left him teetering on the threshold between life and undeath. The black-fingered urchins that run his errands say that he eats only dust and folded parchment, that long-dead skeletons twitch in his presence, and that if he stares hard enough at one who earns his displeasure, that unfortunate soul will wither and die. Glimscry is a founding member of a brotherhood of scholars known as the Pact Mortalis, long-time rivals of the Cataphragms of Penultima, who believe the secret to immortality can be found not in shade glass, but in specially treated phylacteries filled with gravesand. He once called the now Chamberlain Torgilius his closest friend, until Torgilius stole his research and fled to the city of Ulfenkam, there to take the leap of faith that Octren would never commit to. Ironically, it was the Chamberlain that had the right of it. He perfected the creation of these phylacteries by adding a drop of empiric blood to each one, thus completing the grand work of the Pact Mortalis. Now Octren pursues Torgilius and his master Radakar relentlessly, though whether to slay them or to join them as lords of undeath, even he is not entirely sure. So this is our card here for Octren Glimscry, and it's a character card. You can tell I've been playing Warcry for so long, I call everything a fighter card now, but this is a character card. And on this we find the image of our hero, and this will match the model that we use to represent him. And then we have his name up here, Octren Glimscry. It tells us he's a lawmaster, he's human, and he's a death scholar, and his size is large. And then here we've got Octren Glimscry's move, vitality, defense, and agility values. And this tells us here what dice to use for each of them. So for the agility, we'd use this one, and for the defense the same, and then vitality, we'd use this one. We'll be going through these dice in much more detail when we go through the rules videos, but just to note that there's more chance of a success and a critical success as the dice change. So this one, you've got the least chance of a success or critical success, then this one, and then this one. So it's this red one that you really want if you can get it. Then on all these character cards, you'll see there's a little slot for a carried item, and this can be something here like this kind of scroll that you can just pop on, and that lets you know that that character is carrying that object. Then we've got our 4 activation dice squares, and each time you take a turn you'll roll 4 d6 dice for your fighter, and then those dice will be placed on these squares, and it's these dice that allow you to move or use one of your weapon actions or unique abilities. Okay, so Octren Glimscry has got 2 weapon actions, and his first one is a Hexbrand, and he's going to need to have a +1 with his activation dice, and this is a melee weapon, and the dice he uses for this weapon action is the 8-sided dice, and that's going to cause 1 to 2 damage. Now we've also got a little footnote here, and that tells us that this weapon action is also suffused with death, and a target that suffers damage from this weapon action is also cursed. And again, we'll go through that in the rules later on. His second weapon action is a hollow stare, and this is a 4+ with his activation dice. It tells us the type of weapon is a dual, and the dice here are both red, which is the 12-sided, and this blue 8-sided dice, and this is going to cause 1 to 3 damage. Our heroes also get unique abilities, and so these have got some kind of caveats, whereas you can use these weapon actions more than once per turn. With the unique abilities, it's mostly once per turn. And the first one is Grave Sand Tincture, and for this you need to have a 6+ for your activation dice, and this action can only be made once per turn. This hero suffers 1 damage until the start of this hero's next activation. The damage value of the hollow stare, this 4+ weapon action, the weapon action is 3 to 5. So this is going to be able to cause more damage now. So this is going to improve that damage, but it comes at a cost. He is going to suffer 1 damage himself. Next, this unique ability is called Withering Hex, and for this we need a 4+ on our activation dice, and it tells us to pick a hostile visible to this hero and roll the 8-sided dice. If the roll is successful, that hostile is stunned. Then at the bottom of the card, we've got what's called the Path to Glory, and here we've got an ability called Drain Life. After a hostile is slain on the same board tile as this hero, roll the D12. If the roll is a critical success, gain 1 inspiration point. At the very bottom of the card, you'll see we've got these 2 slots for armour and weapon, and these relate to empowerments. So here are some empowerment cards that would go at the bottom of your hero character card, and they would slot underneath like this, and then you can keep track of any armour or weapons they're carrying. And these cards give you all the instructions you need to be able to use the items. And just as an example of this, I've picked out an empowerment armour called Null Tempered Plating, and you get a little quote here, and then it also says how the Null Tempered Plating helps you, and it says successful defense rolls made for this hero reduce the damage suffered by 1 additional point to a minimum of 0, and the cost of this is 8 realm stone points. And then at the bottom, defense rolls reduce damage by 1 extra point. So it just sums up what the Null Tempered Plating does for the hero. And exactly the same thing for our empowerment weapons. We get a little quote, we get the explanation, the cost, and a summary at the bottom, so we can keep track and use it really easily. So at the very top of the card, the final thing to go through is what is called traits, and each hero will have a different trait. And for Octren Glimscry, his trait is a Lore Master, and for this we get another card, and this is a trait card, and they'll come with Lore Master, Blade, and you also get 2 others, which are Executioner and Stalwart. So when you've got your traits, they go from 0 to 5. So you'll start off at 0. So you start at level 0 and you'll have no traits. And as you move up through the levels, you'll gain a trait for each level, and they accumulate as you go. So you can keep all the previous ones you've built up. So as you level up, you should get to level 5 with all these traits, and these are going to help you throughout the different battles and quests as you work through the game. You can see here that Octren Glimscry, for his level 1 trait, is called Fated, and this hero can spend 3 destiny dice per turn instead of 2. So that's a little bonus, and again we're going to go through all these in detail when we do the rules, so you'll know what it means. And then it'll work down, getting better as we go along, until we get to level 5, which is Masterful, and this tells us that once per turn, during their activation, this hero can spend 1 discarded destiny dice as if it were available. And our trait card just sits neatly behind the character card, and then when you advance with your different levels, you just slide the card up to reveal all the different levels and traits that are available to the hero. And when you think it couldn't get any better, we can also flip the card over, and this takes us to the inspired side of the card. And when our heroes become inspired, things can only get better for them, and you'll see here that for Octren Glimscry, his vitality dice has changed from a D8 to a D12, so now he's got much more of a higher probability of rolling a success or a critical success. And he's also got some extra unique abilities here, so we lose the bit at the bottom, that box with Path to Glory, but we gain a unique ability that's going to be an improvement on that. And this one is called Tomes of Death, and for this we'll need 4+ activation dice, and this action can only be used once per turn. Pick one visible hostile to be your puppet. That hostile makes one weapon action that targets another visible hostile of your choice. Then pick a different hostile to be a puppet. That hostile makes one weapon action that targets another visible hostile of your choice. Okay, so I thought the Warcry abilities could be a bit of a mouthful, but this is pretty lengthy, but I think once we start playing it and breaking it down, it's going to be pretty straightforward. I mean, basically he can do the same thing twice, so he can pick one hostile who's his puppet, and then they make an attack action against another hostile, and you get to choose that hostile that they attack, and so you can do that with 2 separate visible hostiles. There we go, this Octren Glimscry, a really interesting character, great looking miniature with some cool weapon actions and unique abilities, and I think he'll be a fun character to add as one of your heroes. Look out for the videos I've done for all the other heroes and the villains, and I'll be working through all the rules of the game, creating short videos so we break it down section by section, slowly working through the rules so we can get on top of this and get playing. It'd be great to hear what you think about Octren Glimscry, and also include in the comments below who your favourite villain or hero is. It'd be great to hear your thoughts and feedback about the game too. I hope you were able to get a copy for yourself of Cursed City game when it was released, but if not, hopefully they'll do a restock really soon, and I'll put a link to Element Games in the description below where you can pick it up with a great discount, and you can save up to 20% there on all your game products, and that'll be an affiliate link, but it won't cost you anything extra. You'll save that money, and for every sale made through an affiliate link I get a small commission that helps me do loads more videos like this. So thanks so much for that support, it's really brilliant and I really appreciate it. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description, and it'd be great to see you there. I hope you enjoyed the video, and this gave you a good look at Octren Glimscry and what he's all about. So thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.